Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad that each and every one of you are here. My name is Devon, and I'll be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. All right, let's get into this message. Okay. Okay. I'm happy. Imagine. Okay. Okay. We'll get into this in just a minute. I felt the message coming through. Before we fully get into this, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support on the channel. The likes, shares, comments, subscribes, and of course the donations all do help out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you are interested in a personal reading from me, you can find that information in the description box below. Okay. We've got, so right when I split it, I looked at it and knew it was part of the message. So, and then I was going through these cards and this is all part of it. So, okay, we've got the temple path and walking away. And so, what this is talking about is walking away from things that are no longer serving your highest good. No longer serving, the version of you that's in alignment, that is living the life that you want to live. Connected to source in whatever way that is for you, connected to the divine, connecting to angels, ancestors, spirit guides, animal totems, signs and synchronicities, all the things. So that's really what the temple path is talking about, is that path, to the divine, back to yourself, breaking down the ego, really getting into the energy of alignment ultimately, which is where you're aligned with your higher self, with your heart's desires, with what it is. Again, it's the life that you actually want to live without it being fueled by external approval. So doing things because society tells you to, or, your caregivers when you were growing up told you that you needed to do certain things, and so on and so forth. Friends, family, etc., etc. Society at large. It's changing from that and then really seeking internal approval. What is it that I actually want to experience? What is it that I actually want to um how do I want my life to actually look? And it's coming more from that aligned place. So yeah, so you're, walking away from things that are no longer serving you. Ego attachments, limiting beliefs, vices, this can be toxic friendships, people that, are not really aligned with this type of path. And it's not saying that you can't have relationships with them. It's just oftentimes those dynamics will change. The type of relationships you have with people will change as a result of you aligning more with your your truth, your higher self. And then what we've got here is letting you know that because you've been walking away from what's no longer serving, and for a lot of you, I'm getting like beliefs, like limiting beliefs, those kinds of things. Maybe you're listening less to the inner critic and more to your higher self, the divine. Again, however you work with this energy, you're walking away from those kinds of things, and because you've got victory here, which is, victory, success. And so this is saying that as you continue to walk this temple path, you're going to continue to see blessings, resources, opportunities, um, all of the things that support what you are actually desiring. You're going to find more and more of that. And you are already successful in certain areas of life. It might be little bits here and there, but it's like a snowball. Those little bits turn into bigger bits. So yes, and then that will make you very happy. This could also be an energy of starting to really find that internal state of happiness before your external reality reflects it back. This is, it's an inversion. So oftentimes it's when I get this thing, when I get this money, when I get this relationship, when I get this, then I'll be happy. And if you flip it and you go, okay, I'm going to find my internal state of happiness before that, it will speed up the things externally that continue to reinforce this internal state of happiness. So, being happy for, your animals, if you have pets, being happy for, just little things. And then the more you can embody that, the easier it will be to stay in that energy. And then you will start to have things in your physical reality that reflect it back and just make it even easier. And then, yeah, so there is this energy here with imagine. This is daydreaming, fantasizing, visualizing, all of that. This is really saying that it is, oh, I don't know if that's coming up. Okay. Anyhow, um, hmm, okay. There was something symbolic with me turning on the light just then. Um, okay, for some of you, okay, that's pretty intense. For some of you, what you had happen was literally, it was like the divine turned a light on and illuminated some things for you. So maybe all of a sudden, yeah. Okay. For some of you, what could have happened is you were just minding your own damn business, living life in the way you were living it. And then all of a sudden, you had a situation where the divine started literally dropping in this awareness of something that is aligned for you on this temple path. For some of you, it does have something to do with a romantic relationship, union, reunion energy with the happy family card here. And so it was like the divine came in and like turned the spotlight on in an area of life or with a particular person or a specific dynamic, something like that, where it was like it was so bright you couldn't ignore it. And then all of a sudden, this could be something that you've been thinking about a lot. I just heard ruminating. So maybe you're kind of ruminating, you're thinking a lot, you're daydreaming a lot, you're fantasizing a lot about a potential reality with for some of you it's going to be a particular person, for others of you it's just this energy of having that romantic person that is aligned with you, that is a really good match for you, and you guys are aligned on some of these bigger life things that you want to experience, so on and so forth. Most likely this is going to be somebody else who is also walking this temple path. um and so it's like the divine illuminated this to you and started giving you like dreams, daydreams, things like that. And now it's time for this to actually start to manifest in your physical reality. So that could be something that's going on for a lot of you um is it's yeah, it's like there's an energy where it's time, it's ready. It took some time, so you were getting the insight on whatever this was. This is like a it's something that you want and it's in alignment with you. It required you to walk away from quite a bit. And again, that could just be like belief systems, ego attachments, so on and so forth. And now it's like the divine was working on this while you were processing your stuff, having ego breakdowns, dark night of the soul, so on and so forth. The divine has been prepping whatever this is that you've been really desiring to experience in life. And now it's like it's about ready to anchor into the physical realm. And for some of you, it definitely has to do with romantic uh energy, like romantic union. Um your perfect person is what I just heard. Okay. Um let's see what else. Yeah, with the higher power that is on the bottom of the deck. This is letting you know that this is being divinely orchestrated. So don't doubt it. This is being divinely orchestrated. Oh, shit. Okay. For some of you, this is a super high level soulmate. Could be counterpart. The yin yang card. Yep, hold on. Eh, clear my throat, please. Okay. Yep, there's something here with communication energy. Okay. You could be experiencing a clearing in your throat chakra. Okay. Um, The yin yang card is balancing the masculine and feminine energies. So we all have a balance internally of masculine and feminine energies. So this could be something that you've been working on for a while, is balancing those internal energies. And the thing is even if you haven't consciously been doing this, things like healing and inner child work and reparenting your inner child, that kind of thing, healing the mother wound, healing the father wound, so on and so forth, healing abandonment, healing a lot of these like core wounds, what that does, that actually does balance your internal masculine and feminine energies. And so even if you haven't consciously been like, I'm going to heal my internal masculine energy, and then I'm going to heal my internal feminine energy, and then I'm going to balance it, and then I'll find that in an external relationship. I would say there's some people who are doing it in that kind of way where it's conscious. A lot of times this is just like it's kind of like a byproduct of what happens of walking this temple path and doing a lot of this inner work and releasing things that are not actually who you really are at that core level. And then it balances those masculine and feminine energies within as a byproduct. And then when those are balanced within, then you get to really experience it in the external world with another person. And so this could definitely be something that you've been manifesting, you've been daydreaming about. The thoughts of this makes you extremely happy, and there's this hope that you are going to be successful when it comes to this situation. And it's like, yeah, it's one of these things that there's something here with the timing of it. And that makes sense. In these types of connections, divine timing is a huge, huge factor. And so you could be really experiencing some longing when it comes to this person, if you know who this is, or it's just longing for that energy to actually be in your physical reality. Um, the message coming through right now, though, is you do have the strength, the inner strength necessary to take action when it comes to this next phase um of alignment for you. And yeah, I do feel for most of you this is a person. Um yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Hmm. For some of you, you're coming up with the strategy, you're coming up with the plan on taking this action. And for some of you, you've been like coming up with a plan for quite a while. Um, hmm, okay. There it is. Fifth chakra. So that's the throat chakra. That's communication energy. And where it came out, it landed on the Angel of Strength, Happy Family, and Imagine. So what I'm getting from that trifecta, it's actually because that's four cards, but anyways, um, is you have the inner strength necessary to speak your truth at this point. And when you allow yourself to speak your truth, you're going to be able to anchor in what you are desiring, like those fantasies, those visions, those daydreams. You're going to be able to anchor this into the physical realm. And yeah, I feel like for a lot of you this is a reunion energy. That's just the way it feels. um yeah, because there's like a lot of hesitancy around it, and with the deceit card that flew out over here, this is doubting it. So you could still be dealing with some of the doubt, but the interesting thing is right next to it, we've got walking away. So you could actually be finally, not calling anybody up. You could be finally releasing this aspect of it, this doubt, this, there's no way, this is too good to be true, so on and so forth. You could be walking away from this type of thought process in more allowing yourself to shift into like, this is possible for me. This is aligned with my highest timeline. Yeah, and you could be walking away from like final, I just heard like final ego attachments. And so this is really big, by the way. I just want to say that. Like this is profound inner work. So give yourself a pat on the back because this is not easy. It's not easy to do this. If it was, way more people would do it and finish like continue to do it. A lot of people it, there's a good bit of people who start the process and start aligning with this journey and then they hit this area of intense inner work and yeah, healing the broken heart, things like that. And then they're like, nope, I don't want to do it. And they turn around, they walk away from it. But you kept going. And so good job. It's gonna be so worth it. It already is. It's just I feel like there's some things that haven't fully manifested for you in the physical realm. Don't focus on it as much as possible. Because you're really close. Like you're really, really close. Yeah, okay, the never ending story. This is talking about releasing those ego attachments, really this can be also releasing victim mentality. And again, I'm not calling anybody out. This is something that, most of us actually end up doing on this path at some point because it's such an ingrained part of society is to blame other people and give your power away to authority figures and, so on and so forth. And so we're kind of trained to look at it, in those lenses of well, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, so it's just not meant for me. Or I, grew up from a broken family. Like, I didn't see healthy a healthy marriage or healthy relationship. So that's just not for me. It's those kinds of things. And now I feel like what you're doing is you're actually looking at it and saying like, wait a minute, I actually can have these things that I deeply desire. Um, and so now it's time to, you've done a lot of inner work. And so now it's time to actually allow yourself to embrace that and to really look at yourself and how far you've come on this journey and take action. And yeah, for a lot of you, this action does have to do with like a romantic interest. Maybe not all of you though. There could be some other stuff going on here, but I'm really getting I'm really getting a reunion energy. Um, and it's coming as a result of breaking down this ego. In part of what could have been illuminated to you is you, who your counterpart is. Um, and kind of starting to seek those answers of why do I feel this way for this person and I've never been able to find that in anybody else and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden you start getting signs and synchronicities and dreams and daydreams and all of these things and then you're like why like what is this, and then that sparks some research that can lead to more of how to navigate this path and what you're being asked to look at and to do and to heal and integrate and all of those things. Okay, we've got angel of love, healer of the ages, clean it up, and broken heart. Okay, angel of love is talking about unconditional love. It's also saying that you do have other beings, guides, etc., however you perceive it, that are helping you when it comes to your heart's desires. And so that's not just romantic love, by the way. Um, healer of the ages, you could be tapping into your own healing abilities. So yep, that's all that's coming through for that right now. Okay, and then we've got clean it up and broken heart. So you could be being asked to clean up a situation that involved a broken heart. So I'm getting, yeah, this I feel like is going to be more specific for a reunion energy. You could be being called to communicate with this person and clean up the situation, heal, fully heal this broken heart energy, um, and come together and see, what's next for you on this journey with this person. I do feel like for a lot of you, you are being pushed towards a person right now. You're kind of being magnetized and pushed towards this person. And it does have to do, I just heard the story's not over between you and this person. And there's a part of you that knows it's not over. And for some of you, I'm hearing there's a part of you that always knew it wasn't over. Like, yeah, even if on the surface in the physical realm, for some of you, maybe it's been a very long time that you've, interacted with this person, but there was always a part of you that knew it wasn't over. For some of you, maybe it was one of those like, oh, maybe in a different life kind of energy, and then now I was gonna say it's coming back to the surface, but it's already at the surface. Like this is something that is in your face. You're already aware of this. This is not something that you're just now getting signs and synchronicities about this person. This is something that is in your fucking face, like big time. Um, okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so I had to pause it for a minute to get a drink of water, and then I spilled it all over. Um, and part of it is because I started kind of getting like nauseous, and there's like no real reason that I should be nauseous. And so when I kind of tapped in, it's actually part of this energy. So there could be a situation here where you're getting ready, like you've come up with a plan, you're getting ready to take action, you're getting ready to communicate, you've found your inner strength, you've been breaking down your ego, and you're ready to put an end to this longing. So this is a very specific part of the message. So because of all this, you're ready to communicate to this person that you have unconditional love for, and it could be making you a little bit nauseous. I did see the anxiety card earlier, so, uh, yeah, that's just a little extra confirmation. If you're like getting ready to, reach out or, you know, call this person or whatever it is, however you're being guided to, you know, reconnect with this person, there could be a lot of like, uh, just a lot of anxiety or like that nauseous where you're like, oh shit. Um, with that, since we're talking about physical symptoms, if you're concerned in any way with your physical health or, health in general, check with a medical health professional. I'm not offering medical advice. We're talking about things from an energetic and spiritual standpoint. When you're on the precipice of doing something that there is no going back from, it's going to cause some anxiety. Fear is going to get loud. You might get a little nauseous. Those aren't signs not to do it though. It's just that's kind of the normal ego reaction when you're getting ready to take a leap of faith. You have no idea which way it's going to go, and the only thing that you know for sure is it's going to change your life in some way, and there's no going back. The ego is going to freak out a little bit, and your nervous system might activate a little bit or a lot of it, and then it's just like, oh shit. um and that's, again, it's not a sign not to do it. It's just, that's kind of normal when we're on the brink of doing something that's going to be completely life changing. It uh you know it's it's going to cause some stuff internally. That's just a part of it that we get to work through. Okay, so let's stop right. All right. Okay, so we've got the indecision card and hostilities that came out, also with go the distance. So you could still kind of be in this indecisive energy a little bit about, for some of you, it's like, I don't feel like you're indecisive on actually going towards this person. It kind of feels like it's gotten to the point where, like, you have to find out. You have to know. So it's this energy of like you're being pushed to the point to where it's like it's getting so uncomfortable that the only option is to just, at some point just be like, fuck it. I have to know. I have to know if this is all in my head, if there is actually something tangible here, if this reunion energy is actually possible, or if this is just a fantasy. I have to know. I have to know if this other person is getting the signs and synchronicities the way that I am. If this person is envisioning a future with me the way that I'm envisioning a future with them. Um, it's yeah, it's kind of that energy of like at some point it's you're gonna pop like you're yeah, and this is sometimes I call it the divine pressure cooker because it's what it feels like when you're in the middle of it, because it's so much pressure from the divine to do this thing because it's in alignment and at some level your conscious human self has chosen that this is what you want. So this isn't some completely subconscious thing that the divine is pushing you towards. This is in your conscious awareness. This is something your human self at some level is like, yes, if this is possible for me, I want that above all else. Like it's at that level now. And because it's there, that conscience level, there's no going back anyways. There's no going back to before this was in your awareness. There's just not. It's kind of the concept of like I'm seeing the Matrix with the red pill, blue pill thing. And it's one of those like once you take that the red pill and you see things and you understand things from a different perspective, there's no going back. You can't fucking unsee it. When you see certain things, you see corruption, you see the system, you see the control, you see the this, you see that. There's no going back from that. This is another one of those situations. You've seen this in such a way, and you have the awareness in such a way, there is no going back. And so this is one of those at some point you're gonna just have to let yourself do it. You're gonna have to let yourself just make this decision regardless of this internal hostility that you might be feeling. You might be hearing a lot of your ego telling you all the fucking things, the fears getting really loud, but then there's a part of you that just knows that you just, it's one of those things too. It's like when have you ever been pushed towards somebody like this? When have you ever experienced this with anybody else? And it gets to a point where it's like it has to be divinely orchestrated, and that's kind of part of these, especially if this is a counterpart, that's kind of part of this dynamic. Like there is this soul connection. You're being divinely led back to this person and there's a reason for it. And it's not just for you to have, your heart broken again and, to go backwards. That's not how this journey works. This is about your expansion as a soul. And ultimately, I'm getting for this collective, your soul chose that if it were ever possible for you to come back together with this person and have a reunion energy, if both of you were on board, it, it it's almost like it was like you chose that. You chose to do that. If it was ever a real possibility for you to come back together with this person, both you and this person were like, yeah, and it's because this can go the distance. So this go the distance card is a two-part message. One, it's saying it is safe and it is time to go the distance, close the gap between you and this person and put an end to this physical longing that you're feeling about having them not for some of you it's like having them not in your life at all, but that's in the physical realm because you and this person are connected in the ethers. You're probably having telepathic communication, things like that at this point. um the other thing with this go the distance card is it's saying this is coming back around for you now. When things come around for you on your temple path like this and you're being pushed and divinely led so intensely like you have been when it comes to this person, it's because it can go the distance. It's because you and this person are ready for this now. Because this type of connection, to anchor it in and actually have it be sustainable, both of you have to be in a certain energy. You both have to be in a certain vibration. You both have to have broken down your ego and done a lot of healing and aligned with your higher self and the divine and done certain things. There's certain things that you have to do before you're even going to be pushed back towards this person. This person, and maybe, okay, for some, interesting. Okay, I've never gotten this message before. For some of you, this person is actually who's been inspiring you to stay on this temple path, who's been inspiring you to continue to connect with your higher self. And so if you've been thinking of this person for a while now, and when you think of this person, they inspire you to be the best version of yourself and to actually look at your shadow self and allow this ego breakdown to happen and all of these things. And so maybe this person has been an integral part of your journey, and then now you're being pushed so heavily. And the thing is it's one of those, this has leveled up from just an inspiration to pull you into a more aligned version of yourself. Now you both are ready in the physical realm at the human level to actually come together and be victorious when it comes to a reunion energy. And so maybe that's part of where it's confusing, is because you're like, well, it's I've thought about this person a lot. I just heard a lot over the years. So maybe it's been a long time for you. And then all of a sudden now it's like you're being pushed to actually reconnect with this person in the physical realm, but you aren't sure of, like, is that actually what this guidance is saying? Is it actually aligned for you? Is this person actually on board? There's a lot of unknowns when it comes to you and this person in the physical realm. But in the energetic realm, like, I'm getting this really, you could feel really connected to this person. And maybe that's part of where you're like, I don't really know if I want to go towards them right now, because if they say no, then what? And the thing is it's one of these things, like, I'm really not getting that this person would say no. Maybe we'll get tarot just to, like, clarify, but I don't feel like this is a situation where you're going to go towards this person and they're going to say no. I do feel like for some of you, there's a stickiness. So maybe there's some things that both of you would have to walk away from. Maybe that's something like a physical distance, or something with, like, finances or things like that, that feels like it might be sticky, or you're not quite ready in those realms. But energetically, you and this person are ready to come together and have this reunion. And once you do that, once you allow yourself to take steps towards this, the shift that will happen internally for you is going to open you up to receive the resources and the opportunities that you need in order to actually lock this in. So just remember that too. Like, this is divinely led. And when you follow the divine guidance, you will find like miracles will happen. And it's one of those things that's like, well, I don't know how this would happen, or I would need this first or that. And it's one of those, like, if you follow the guidance and the guidance is telling you to take action on this thing first, there's going to be, like, the result of that is it opens you up energetically, because it relieves a lot of this other yucky energy, this stuck in your head. Is this real? Is this just in my head? And then there's that broken heart energy. There's that grief energy as well. When you allow yourself, it's like when you allow yourself to go over here and clean it up and go towards this person, this energy just dissipates. And so think about it. Just think about that for a minute. Like, let yourself play with that thought process of, like, oh my gosh, visualize, like, how it will feel to reach out to this person, find out that they're on board and they do want this reunion with you. Think about, I'm getting elated. Like, think about how good that would feel. And now think about what that would actually do to your energy on a consistent basis, knowing that this is actually something that is aligned for you. And I just got confirmation for it. So yeah. Um uh think about that, and think about how, because it's going to feel 1,000 times better when it actually happens in the physical too. Like, you can sit here and daydream about it and fantasize about it and it feels so good, but then at some point you snap back to reality, and then you've got to go, go to work or go do this or go do that. You look at your phone and they haven't, reached out or whatever. Now think about, what it's going to feel like, even if, because for some of you, this has come through in this energy before. Some of you, this is going to start in a platonic way where you're going to become friends, get to know each other, like your humans are going to get to know each other again. And then from there, it's going to naturally evolve into a romantic relationship. Even that, though, think about talking to this person on a regular basis and being able to call them or text them or whatever and actually be in communication with this person. That is going to lift so much of this other heavy energy. And think about what you will be able to align with when that other heavy energy is just lifted. Okay. Okay, so you have been getting the signs and synchronicities and the awareness that it's time to go. It's time to do this. You know you're being guided to take action. For some of you, what you're doing though is you're burying yourself in work or mundane tasks and not allowing yourself to do so, and you're keeping yourself distracted from actually taking action and going towards this person. Um, and then there could also be this energy of looking for any other alternative ways to get back into this person's life, except for the big glaring obvious way. Which the big glaring obvious way is the way that you're being guided to do this. It's also the way that's making you really uncomfortable because you're being guided to actually, harness that inner courage and take this leap of faith and take some action towards this person, but because you have no idea how this person's going to respond to you, I feel like that's part of what's stopping you. And so it's like you're asking the universe to like please put them in the same, place as me so that I can see if they still have that look in their eye when they look at me or something like that. Like you're wanting some sort of thing like that to happen so that you have that extra sense of security and then you'll take your leap of faith. The thing is, when we're talking this journey, this is the rub. When we're talking about this journey, sometimes when we're asking for those kinds of things, we will get denied by the universe because what we're actually being asked to do is to tap into this knowing, tap into that inner strength, pull into that courage energy, and take that leap of faith completely into the unknown and just trusting in the universe and like, fuck, please, please let this be real. And then you just leap. And then you find out if it's real or not. And fuck, yeah, dude, we've got door to personal healing and happiness, we've got door to value, and then we've got garden and the gate. So, okay, for some of you, you feel like there's a boundary here. You feel like there's a boundary between you and your person, and you don't want to cross this boundary because you don't know where they're at when it comes to this connection and what they want with you. The thing is it's one of those, there's a respectable way to go about this. This isn't, yeah, it's one of those things like I feel like this is more of an illusion. It's like you feel like you're crossing this boundary and in the reality you're I'm seeing like on this picture it's a feminine, so I'm seeing like a feminine just being like, come on, come on, come on, like I'm not allowed to fucking open the gate for you, you have to come in and use your key. The divine, okay, interesting. So I'm getting this visual. Okay, so it's like your feminine's behind this gate and you're on the other side, and there's this lock, there's like this padlock on this gate, and your feminine doesn't have the key to unlock it. So it's like your feminine can't unlock this to open it to let you in. They're not being allowed to, they don't have access to do this, and it's because you're the one that has the key. So aka the ball's in your court at this point. You have the key, so you are being called to courageously approach and unlock that padlock and open the gate and just be like, "Hey, do you want to, you want to come this way with me?" And it's funny because it's like the feminine sitting here like any fucking day now. Just come on. Let's do this, like we'll be because I'm getting this energy of you are going to leap towards your person, and then there's going to be an energy where both of you are going to leap together in some way. So yeah, I'm not getting any other specifics. So that's going to be very, very, like, it's going to vary. but it's one of those, like, your feminine's ready to exit this garden and walk this path with you, but they cannot do that until you take the action and unlock the gate. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a metaphor, obviously. Um, okay. And the thing is it's like by you going and unlocking this gate and being like, come on, let's go. You want to go? And then your person's like, yeah, dude. Yes, I very much would like to. And then it's, this is what, and maybe this is part of it, is like the doors that you both are going to walk through together is like very abundant, lots of physical resources, personal healing, personal happiness. It's just like it's this huge level up for both of you that's going to happen as a result of you taking this action and unlocking that gate. This turned straight into a counterpart reading, so it will probably label it as such in the title. That was more of a reminder for me. Okay. Peace and man holding a coin. Okay. So you could be very focused on your finances and finding inner peace right now. Okay, for some of you, you want to find peace with your finances before taking action. Ah. And the thing is, and again, this is where it's really important to listen to your own guidance. And really make sure it's actually divine guidance and not your ego telling you how to do things because it's okay. So this is ultimately what I'm getting is it's like if this part resonates with you, I'm getting a masculine energy who's like, I want my finances to be like this before I approach this person because I want to be able to offer them this, and this. And then what's actually happening is that's more of an ego train of thought because it's one of those as a result of taking this leap of faith and doing it in what so to the ego it seems like it's an out of order way to go about this. It seems like it should be you do this first and then you do that first and then you do this first and then you go towards this person. And the thing is it's one of those, yes, there are certain things that you're going to be required to do before you approach your counterpart. That is just, it is what it is. But the thing is you've already done that and it's the internal work that you've done that is now allowing you have this green light. The divine gave you this key to go unlock this gate to get your person, and it's an internal process. And then what happens as a result of you taking action towards this, that is what's going to actually level up your finances. And it's not saying that your person is going to level up your finances. For some of you, maybe. Um, because again, with counterpart relationships and dynamics, it's a lot of it is going against certain societal expectations and things like that. Um, so just keep that in mind as well. But it's not really that I'm picking up on. It's the fact that it's going to release such this heavy energy within your energy field that all of a sudden it's like I'm seeing like this instantly snapping fully into alignment. So it's like you reach out to this person, maybe you communicate, maybe it takes a little bit. It's just going to depend on the situation. For some of you, it's going to be pretty instantaneous that you can tell that this person's on board or at least open to it. And it's a possibility. And so it's like the fact that it's a possibility is going to just like snap you fully into alignment in a way that you might not. This might be a full this might be a spiritual experience for you where all of a sudden you speak to this person and then like I'm seeing like hanging up the phone and setting it down and all of a sudden it's just like all of these burdens, all of this heaviness just instantaneously lifts and all of a sudden you just drop into your body and you're like holy shit, and you feel like what it truly feels like to be completely in alignment, and just in that full like holy shit, this is all real. I was divinely led to this person. this is my perfect person. They are on board. The things that I've been envisioning and daydreaming about and desiring are possible. And it's just like it's a sense of relief, and then it's like all of these burdens and all this heaviness and all of this like mental head spinny inner critic stuff just dissipates. And then it's just like I'm just seeing like a masculine just like sitting on their couch just like holy shit. Like holy shit. And it's gonna take some time to fully ink like like what I'm getting is it's gonna be so mind-blowing in such a beautiful, amazing way that it might literally take your breath away. Like it might literally make you speechless for a minute. And then all of a sudden, because of that energy shift that is going to naturally take place, all of a sudden it's like these things that you've been, really focusing on and wanting to change and so on and so forth. I'm getting a lot of finance energy. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, like maybe you get clarity on something. Maybe you get like this, okay, I'm being guided to invest this into this, they're like tokens or something now. I forgot. It's a different kind of cryptocurrency. But anyways, it's like you get this insight to invest in that, and then in a year it like takes the fuck off or something like that, where it's like maybe you get clarity on a certain situation when it comes to your finances. Maybe you actually get like a windfall of abundance out of nowhere, and it's coming from an unexpected source, and then all of a sudden you're like holy shit, like I'm financially capable of doing the things that I want to do with this person. And I'm getting a building energy as well, so this could be an energy where you and your person are coming together to build together. um but it's just like that energy it's just like that energy shift is is it's gonna be more profound for you than what you can even fathom right now, because it's gonna be one of those things that you experience and then see for yourself the effect of it. I have a cat that is like literally bitching me out right now. What for ya? I'm not opening the door. You know better. I know. And it's gonna rain, so you're not be a happy kitty. All right. Let's see what final ones want to come out. Hey, there's a solar plexus. That's that nauseous energy. Um, solar plexus, this sits at the belly button. The color's yellow. It has to do with willpower, confidence, tapping into that courage energy. Maybe for some of you, you've been moving through like worthiness wounds and stuff. I'm not getting any worthiness wounds in this energy, so that's really good. Maybe you're fine. There we go with the finally word again. Um, Again, I'm not calling you out. This is just the way it's coming through. Maybe you're finally at this point where you're like, you know what? I do have what it takes to contain this person. Um, that sounds really bad. If you understand how masculine, feminine dynamics work when you're talking a divine union, that's the masculine contains the feminine's energy and provides a safe container for the feminine to fully rise. And then yeah, and we've got yin. So that's divine feminine energy. And we all have a balance of masculine and feminine energies within us. So it's not saying that you're always going to be in your masculine energy if you are resonating with being a masculine, which I feel like you are, because it's just the way that this is coming through is very much directed towards like a masculine energy. Um, but yeah, so like sometimes you're going to be in your feminine energy and sometimes your feminine's going to be in their masculine energy and you bounce back and forth. But it's saying like within the relationship dynamic, you are going to be in your masculine energy more so than your feminine, and then it's more natural. You're just going to be better at it. It's literally what you decided to come in and experience in this human life, and you chose to be the masculine, so you are naturally going to be able to embody that masculine energy just in a more it's just gonna be a more natural way. Not saying your feminine can't be in their masculine energy, because I'm getting a pretty powerful feminine over here who could probably get into their masculine energy and it's like boss level. But it's one of those like when it's time to get off work and hang out and whatever, that's where it's like you're going to naturally be able to be in your masculine energy and it's just going to feel natural for you. And then your feminine, because of that containment and that safety that you provide, is going to be able to soften and be in the feminine energy and access that energy. And then there's this it's a it's a reciprocal dynamic, even give and take, equal give and take, and it looks different, but that energy flow is mutual. Um, and so, yeah, maybe you've really kind of recently, if you haven't fully gotten to that level, feel like it's really close for you where you are finally seeing yourself clearly and understanding that you actually are perfectly designed to contain this feminine. And then this feminine is perfectly designed to be your feminine, and there's things that the feminine does for the masculine, they inspire the masculine to become their best version of self. And there's a lot that the feminine gives back as well. So it's very reciprocal. This isn't one of those like the masculine gives and the feminine takes and that's it. That's not how this works. Anyways, going on a whole fucking tangent here about this dynamic. So let's see. We do have contract that came out. There's anxiety. Anxiety with divine timing and co-create. Okay. Contract. This could be saying, well, yeah, there's probably a soul contract here. I'm gonna say about 99% sure there's a soul contract between you and this person. And part of this contract does include you and this person coming together in a romantic sense at this point. For some of you, it wasn't completely determined and decided until more recently if it was going to actually be a romantic union. So this could be a situation where you were both kind of being pushed onto the path together. You both were calling in like a better life for yourself, a more aligned life, a happier life, so on and so forth. And then at some point, your human selves have to agree that this is what you are desiring. And so at this point, it's like both of your human selves are now ready and on board to actually have this dynamic with each other. So if you're sitting there and you're still worried that this person isn't on board, I really feel like they are. It does feel very, very mutual. And then, yeah, we've got the anxiety card. I was picking up on that earlier. You could be having some anxiety because you're being pushed. So this is the divine timing card. And I feel like you're being pushed to reach out to this person to co-create a life together, but it's causing anxiety because there's a part of you that doesn't feel like you're quite ready. And I'm seeing this coin. So you could be feeling like you're financially not ready to start this life that you want with this person. And the thing is again, don't worry so much about that because this is one of those things are going to happen in flow for you in a way that you are completely unaware of right now. This is literally the energy where you and this person together, you could be master manifestors together. And where you have, maybe where you struggle, your feminine really excels and then vice versa. And so this is one of those you two coming together are master manifestors. You can co-create this life together beautifully. It is time for this, but because there's a part of you that you want certain things to look a certain way, and remember that is ego. A lot of that is ego. Because to go towards somebody that you really desire a life with and be like, yeah, this is what I desire, but physically right now, this is what I have access to. There's a humbling energy that is required from that. It's accountability. It's saying, this isn't where I want to stay. And I do, maybe you do have a plan on certain things that you want to do or how to get there. But remember again, the how is up to the divine. So if you can go to your person and be like, this is what I want to co-create with you, this is where I'm at now, and this is what I would have to do, and so on and so forth, then you and your person can help each other get to this point. And sometimes it's just the energy that your feminine is going to pour into you that actually helps you to fully rise and, boss up when it comes to finances and things like that. A divine feminine's energy and focus, especially when it's into their divine masculine, then they're pouring that focus and energy into their masculine that inspires the masculine to fully rise, and then energetically it helps the masculine to rise. The masculine's naturally a little better when we're talking about physical reality and actually anchoring things in. And so then it's one of those dynamics where then the masculine pours into the feminine, and that causes the feminine to rise, and energetically you're just leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. It's very, very reciprocal. And so if you're sitting there and you're really focused on finances, there's nothing wrong with that. It's one of these, if you're allowing that to stop you from going towards your person now, it's really coming through as like a word of caution of like, really listen to your guidance and make sure you're listening to your guidance again versus that ego and it needing to look a certain way because you want to impress your feminine. Allow your energy and where you're at on this journey to be what impresses your feminine. Don't worry as much about what you have in the physical realm because that is something that can change overnight drastically, especially when you're in alignment and you're doing things from this place of alignment versus all of the, external approval and needing to do it a certain way and blah, blah, blah. So, yes. Okay. Last card. Okay. So, this is a card of temptation. Um, it's also a card of thinking it's too good to be true. And it's kind of one of these, like, I feel like you're not really going to be able to fully release this until you actually just go speak to your person. And it is what it is. There is going to be a smidgen of doubt because this is so, it's just mind blowing. It really is. Like it's absolute, it's mind blowing. And naturally, the thing is, when we're talking a counterpart dynamic, it's kind of natural for you to look at this person and be like, there's no way that they would feel for me exactly what I feel for them. And the funniest part about that is it's completely mirrored. You I feel like you are like, there's no way my person would look at me like that. And it's like, trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. It defies logic. It doesn't matter how much you make a year. It doesn't matter how many assets you have. It doesn't matter your physical looks. It's an energy thing. And I I can fucking almost guarantee you, your feminine, at least at some point, it's kind of part of the journey, at least at some point has gone through this exact same thought process. And it is kind of tied to a worthiness thing, but it's one of those, speaking from experience, I fully on my end, I had to go through this of like, there's no way. There's no way that this person would want me for all that I am now. There's no fucking way. And then, the divine works on me constantly with it too. So, it's one of those things. This is a mirrored. This is a mirrored energy. And you'll get to a certain point, and hopefully you're almost there, where there's going to be just a little bit of a doubt. But there's going to be most of you that's like, look, you kind of get to a certain point on this fucking journey where you're like, it's been too long. There have been too many things that have happened. There have been too many signs, too many synchronicities, too many dreams, too many I think I see them somewhere and it's not them, or I walk into somewhere and I hear a song synchronicity, or I hear their name, or I see their name, or whatever it is. If you know what kind of car they drive, maybe you see their car. If you know their birthday, maybe you see their birthday. Like it gets to a certain point where you're like, okay, this is way too much to be a coincidence. And personally, I don't believe in coincidence anyways. But the point is, it will get to a point, even if you believe in coincidence, where it's way too consistent to just be a coincidence, especially because this is most likely the only connection you've ever experienced what you've been experiencing. Um, hold on, that wasn't a complete sentence. You've probably never experienced this with any other person. Not to this level. It just is what it is. And yeah. And that part of that is it's the soul connection. The other thing too is it's like the divine is literally like, all right, you two, it's time. It's time for you to come together. You're aligned. You're ready for this. And then I feel like there's on your end, and maybe on your feminine's end a little bit too, this could be another mirrored thing where there's a little bit for both of you that's like, what if this is too good to be true? What if my person actually doesn't want this? So on and so forth. But it's gonna get to a point, and I feel like you're damn close to it now, where it's literally like you're in that divine pressure cooker where it's going to get so uncomfortable and you're not going to be able to run from it at all, like the thoughts and the this and the that. It's just it's so in your face, and you're gonna get to the point where it's like you just have to know. Um, For some of you, getting the confirmation, this is interesting. So if you've been worried about the strategy and the finances, if you there's a thing here of like, okay, so I'm getting okay, you could fuck, hold on. Hold on, spirit now. Okay, you could be in you could naturally be a little bit of an overthinker or just like really wanting to have a plan for certain things and like you know, this is how it's going to go, and this is what needs to be done to get there, and so on and so forth. And so, if you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, and you're like, and but there's this energy of like a lot of unknowns. So it's like you might be trying to strategize like how you would go about this. I'm hearing like something about moving in together. So like you might be thinking about like, okay, so if I go towards this person and they say yes, and then we would do this, and then we would, make it official, and then at some point we would move in together. And so what would I need to do for that? And then at some point, I would maybe you want to like actually get married. So then you're thinking about like, okay, I would have to, do whatever, maybe it's like buy a ring and then pay for a wedding and do all these things. And so you're like strategizing on how to go about that and what that would look like and what type of, financial position you would need to be in order to do things the way that you want to do them when in what you feel like your person deserves and all of these things. So you're like you're really getting stuck in these details and no judgment. I used to do that constantly. The thing that I've learned on this journey, though, that I'm going to share with you is it's one of those things you can have 15 different fucking plans, and then you're walking this path and you're listening to divine guidance, and all of that time and energy and thought energy and effort that you put into coming up with all of these different plans, and I'll do this, and then if that happens, I'll do that, and if this happens, then I'll do that. And you're like overthinking this and overthinking that. And then all of a sudden, you're like, okay, I'm ready to take this leap. And then so you take the leap, and then all of a sudden the divine's like, hey, here's something you didn't expect. And then all of those strategies that you had, all of those plans that you had are out the fucking window because the divine came through with something completely different that wasn't even on your radar. So remember that too. That is how the divine works. And it makes it fun. And so you can be frustrated with it, or you can look at it and be like, damn, I like being surprised by the divine. So again, we're talking mentality shifting and perspective shifting and things like that. But that happens naturally on the journey. The more you walk it and experience it and see different things and how you thought it was going to go this way and then it went fucking this way. And it all works out. It's always for you. So remember that. Um, okay. Anything else? Yeah, I feel like have I been doing this for an hour? Yeah. There it is. There's the thinking man. So that's confirmation. Um, and then we've got the why card, which is also contemplation. For some of you, if you're not, if there's a part of you that's like, why am I being guided to do this now? Why am I being pushed to do this now? Why am I in this divine pressure cooker and getting so freaking it's the divine pressure cooker's no joke. Like, it's intense when you're in it. And so you could be sitting there like, why? Like, why would I be being pushed to do this? Why am I being guided to do this? And you know, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And why would I be being guided to do this? This is something that's going to be answered for you in hindsight. So you can sit there and you can think of all the different reasons, and maybe you're going to touch on the why. But the thing is it's one of those, this is where the clarity is going to be hindsight. So you leap in this direction, you allow yourself to take this risk, and then you will find out why. A lot of things are going to become clear for you that maybe aren't even on your radar right now. Yes, building blocks. I was getting that energy earlier. So you and your person have complementary building blocks to really build a beautiful life together. That's part of the reason why, actually. Is because of this complementary energy back and forth, and it's you have your strengths, your person has their strengths, and it's complementary. So you and this person working together, you are each other's perfect match. That is part of why you're being guided to do this now, is to co-create with this person, and it's like co-create the life of your dreams. You are going to be victorious in it. You are going to be extremely happy. There is reunion here. Um, and it is gonna bring peace beyond what you can fathom right now, is what I just heard. Okay, so the last 2 cards that just popped out is All Tied Up and Not For You, and so what's coming through with this, I feel like there is this energy of you feeling, kind of trapped in these thoughts of, "It's too good to be true, this isn't for me, I should just focus on something else," so on and so forth. Oh, my guides and the divine are being spicy, being a little funny. Okay. So what I just heard was, you can go ahead and focus on all of these other things, but you're not going to escape these thoughts. You're not going to escape the dreams, the signs, the synchronicities. You're not going to escape it, because it is for you. And when something is for you, it's going to continue, especially when it's in alignment with divine timing. You are going to get pounded with this energy, and part of what you could be feeling that you are interpreting, yep, okay, so part of what could be going on is, what you're feeling is, you're feeling this divine pressure, you're getting pushed to do something that is expanding you out of your comfort zone, you're being called to take a leap of faith, and it is very scary, so you're feeling this internal pressure, and you could be misinterpreting that as kind of like, heard like, it's almost like doom energy of like you're being pushed, and then you're fighting the divine, and you're like, but this person's not, they, okay, I'm hearing things like, they could have anybody they want. I'm not at their level. I've done this and that and the other. I blank blank blank. It's like you're like arguing. Again, I'm not throwing shade at all. I argue with the divine on a regular basis. But it's like you're arguing with the divine and telling the divine, like, I'm not gonna, like, this person's not going to receive me. This person's not going to be on board with me. So why are you pushing me towards this? Why are you haunting me with thoughts of them and signs of them and dreams of them all the time? And then there's a part of you where it'll glimmer in, and you'll get kind of lost in these fantasies or daydreams, and then you're like, well, maybe it is. Maybe this is something I could have. But then it's like, then you go back into the doubt, back into this, well, this isn't for me, and so on and so forth. And then there's also something about, like, if this was for me, then this would have happened before, or something like that. uh it's just like a lot of doubt energy. And yeah, and it could be partly your mind misinterpreting the pressure cooker. So when we're in the divine pressure cooker, it's really fucking uncomfortable. It's really, really uncomfortable. It is, because what it is it's the divine putting you in this pressure cooker that literally puts you under so much pressure that you have no choice but to kind of like, it's kind of like, you have to release something. You have to release an ego attachment. You have to release a limiting belief. You have to release a vice. You have to release something like that. And this pressure cooker is about you really fully seeing yourself clearly and understanding that this is for you. It is in alignment. It is divine timing. This is your person. There's a part of you that knows this. There's a part of you that knows, and it's going to be more of a feeling in your body, where you know that this is for you, where it just makes perfect sense at some level. But then there's the part of you that could be misinterpreting some of that pressure and being like, well, this isn't for me. Why am I being pushed towards this? Um, and so it's a lot. It's a lot of back and forth energy. So it could be one of those like you're getting ready to take action, you kind of hype yourself up, you think it's for you, you're ready for it, and then all of a sudden you recoil and you're like, well, but what if it's not? And what if they this and what if they that? And so on and so forth. So it's kind of like this back and forth wobble energy. And I'm seeing the indecision card. So that could be part of this, like you're going back and forth. You're like, well, I know I'm really being pushed to go this way, but what if that is painful ultimately? What if it ends in pain? What if it ends in heartbreak? What if it doesn't work out? What if it's actually not for me? What if I'm misinterpreting this? What if it's all in my head? And then there's the part of you that's like, okay, well, I can go this way, but then this path is like it doesn't light you up. It doesn't excite you. It doesn't it's one of those like, well, I mean, I could do that, but it's not inspiring. It's not pulling you into that energy of like, oh, I can be all that I can be on this path. And I know I can be all I can be on this path, but what if? And so it's a lot of unknowns, a lot of what ifs, but you know this is where you're being guided to go. It's just your mind is really, really trying to talk you out of it. And part of it is because it's your ego attempting to keep you safe. But remember, your ego is going to attempt to keep you safe and keep you in the known, even if it's not for your highest good, because it's known. The ego likes things that are known. The ego does not like the unknown because the unknown is potentially dangerous. When you're in alignment with the divine path, it's not dangerous, but your ego might register it as dangerous because it's very, very unknown and it's pushing you into expansion, which is uncomfortable. And your ego's job is to keep you safe and alive. And the thing is safe and alive is very different than being fully in that expansive, living, growing, really living life energy. Um, it's that's the path that you're being called towards is just miracles and divine blessings and all of these things. And then there's the part of you that's like, but you know what if that's not the case? What if I follow this and get you know like I've got my hopes up, and then what if I do that and then this person's not on board? So it's a lot of like back and forth energy. So that could be something that you're being asked to really look at and release at this time is it's kind of one of those like, what's the worst that can happen? So I trick my mind a lot. I just do. And this is one of those like at some point, like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? If you were to go towards this person and they say no, then you can release it and align with what is meant for you. The thing is that's like the worst case scenario on this, and there's still a light at the end of the tunnel with it. But the thing is it's this energy of like that's not the outcome. Like I don't feel like that's the outcome. I feel like you're literally being pushed towards your person so that you can have a reunion with them. And so it's kind of one of those like you're just delaying what's meant for you. And it's yeah. So yeah. Hmm. Hold on. So this is already a long reading, but we're gonna go a little bit longer. Okay, so what I'm being guided to ask is what does your person desire when it comes to like the future with you, or like where's your person at? Okay, Six of Cups. Okay, that's reunion energy. That's reconciliation with somebody from your past, especially in this energy. And then we've got the Four of Wands. That is literally the marriage card. It's also, I've heard it is like the twin flame union card because there's four wands and then it's like 11 together. Um, it's just for me, I take it as union, marriage, celebration, committed, long-term commitment. Okay. What else does their person your person could be doing a little bit of the it's too good to be true kind of energy. Okay, your person is really desiring for you to make your decision, and your person does want you to go towards them. That's the decision they want you to make. Um, and take the leap of faith towards them. And then there is an energy here where it's like you're going to leap towards your person and then both of you are going to leap fully onto your most aligned highest timeline. Like yeah. So it's like but your person's ready for that. Your person is ready for you to make this decision. 6 of Wands. Okay. Your person, okay, 6 of Wands can talk about like going public with this. So your person could be desiring you two to actually have like the full-blown union where your friends and your family know and you come together and you have a long-term committed relationship and you reconcile and you take these leaps of faith, these leaps into the unknown together from this point forward. Um Tower. Oh shit. Okay. The Page of Swords is communication. So your person wants you to reach out. Your person wants you to communicate. Page of Swords is like a baby communication. So this could be a text message, phone call, something like that. So your person does want you to take this leap of faith and reach out. And then the Tower, that's fucking big. So this could be an energy where it's like your person wants to build a foundation with you and the divine because the tower is divine intervention but it's also foundational shifts and foundational moves that are in alignment with the divine. So yeah, I feel like your person does want you to be the person they build their foundation with or continue building their foundation with. And completion. Mm. Okay, the Seven of Wands is talking about being guarded. So your person could be a little bit guarded, but they want to drop their guard when it comes to you. They want to let you fully in. It might take a little bit of easing into that, just depending on the past situations and everything. But they really are desiring to drop their guard when it comes to you, to be able to drop their guard and actually fully let you in. And then also for you to drop your guard and let them fully in. And then the King of Swords, that's communication energy again. Your person is desiring for you to come in and speak your truth. And, whatever that is for you. And then the World, this is completion. So I feel like there's also this energy here because the Seven of Wands came out right after the World. So your person could be desiring a completion where they don't have to be so guarded when it comes to um like in a romantic relationship basically. So they are desiring for you to be the person that they are safe opening up to fully and being held honestly. But then there's this energy too where it's like they're desiring to do that for you as well, and be that like emotionally safe place for you, that soft place for you to land. The Two of Wands, the Knight of Wands, Justice, and Three of Wands. Okay. So the Two of Wands, this is talking about making a decision, picking a path. So I feel like your person does want you to make your decision, and I feel like it's one of those your person wants you to pick them. Um, and bring, fast moving communication. with the Knight of Wands. It's also passionate energy. And then justice, it's balancing out the situation. Your person is desiring to have balance when it comes to you in the situation, and then also to put an end to the waiting with the Three of Wands. There's also something here about there could be a physical distance between you and this person. And I feel like if there is, your person is um your person's like ready for whatever it takes to lock this in with you. So if they, and that's kind of what I was picking up at the beginning. So if there is something that your person would have to walk away from, or maybe it's a location move or something like that, it's like your person's ready to take the necessary action steps in the physical realm. They're not going to take certain action steps towards you until you come in and are like, yes, I'm picking you as well. Like I'm choosing you in life with you, and then your person's like, okay, I'm choosing this with you as well, and I'm willing to do what's necessary in order to actually make this work. um but it's one of those, like, it's really about working with the divine as well. And then we've got the magician out here, which is manifesting. So your person is manifesting you to close this gap. That's that's what they're desiring. They're manifesting union with you as well. They are desiring you to bring some sort of passionate offer. Um, and this could just be an offer of commitment, an offer of, doing life together and then figuring it out from there. With the moon and the Knight of Swords, I feel like there's a dual energy. One, your person is desiring to hear from you this communication on your hidden thoughts, feelings, desires, emotions when it comes to them, but then they're also desiring to illuminate to you their deeper desires and thoughts and feelings when it comes to you. So I feel like they're really desiring and manifesting some sort of heart to heart conversation with you that does definitely have the potential to lead to the Four of Wands, which is full blown commitment energy. The Four of Wands and this Happy Family card are the same energy. This is union, reunion energy, long term commitment. So that's what your person's desiring with you. Um, so yeah, it's like that's what they want. They want you. Um, Queen of Swords, they want to communicate with you as well. Um, and I'm hearing something about like they have boundaries, and then they want to learn your boundaries as well. And then the thing is too, we've got the King and Queen of Swords out here. That is a counterpart energy. And so maybe there is this energy where both of you know that you both have an intellectual compatibility. Or it could be one of those, like, that's what your person is hoping for and desiring, is to have an intellectual compatibility with you as well. Um, okay. Anything else? Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. Okay. Um, we've got 9-9 energy, which is completion energy. Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is talking about anxiety and insomnia. So your person could be experiencing some anxiety, insomnia as well. That could definitely be a mirrored thing. And so it's like your person is ready for you to communicate, because that's going to help relieve some of their anxiety and overthinking as well. Because ultimately, you can get as much divine guidance as possible, but until you actually have it confirmed from that other person, there's always going to be that little bit of doubt. It just is what it is. Um, as much as you try and release it and quiet it down and so on and so forth, it's still there, because it's such a weird energetic experience. And so there is that room for doubt. For your feminine too. Even though yeah, your feminine's definitely in divine feminine energy with that divine feminine card out here. So your feminine is getting a lot of signs, synchronicities, guidance, and everything else. But again, your person's still human, and it's easy to get stuck in that doubt energy. It just is. And then it keeps you in your head, and can disrupt your sleep and everything else. So it's like your person's ready for this to be put to an end when it comes to the situation with you. And then they're also desiring to build with you. Maybe your person's entrepreneurial. This is self-made abundance. And so this is one of those, I feel like your person does desire to build with you, build something substantial, is what I just heard. All right, flip through one more thing. Anything else? Yep, there's the Three of Pentacles. That's literally building together, collaborating, teamwork, life partner energy. So your person is okay, your person is desiring working with you, and part of that is because you actually bring out their youthful side as well. So I feel like this person probably brings your youthful side out, and then you bring that part out of them as well. Um, and it's like your inner children are safe to come out and play together. And so they're desiring that with you and like building with you and working on things together with you. And then also having this like youthful energy and being able to play and do fun stuff and just be goofy or whatever it is. And so they're desiring life with you, honestly. They're desiring full-blown commitment, romantic energy, but also life partner energy where you're building together and you're doing life together. So, yeah. So there's that. We do have the Queen of Wands on the bottom of the deck, and I've seen it a couple times, so I am going to address it. This could also be an energy, if your person is really spiritual, there could be this energy of desiring to have a partner who is supportive of that and also has their own connection with the divine in their own way, in their it's conscience, like that you're consciously connecting to the divine in your own way, doing your spiritual hygiene, things like that. So that could be something else that your person is really desiring, is to have somebody who's standing at their side, who's accepting of them in this full energy. Because the thing is there's a whole lot of people when you're in this energy and you're marching to the beat of your own drum and you're doing these kinds of things and you're really spiritual and so on and so forth, it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. It just is what it is. And so this could definitely be something that they're desiring, is to have somebody who would not judge them for that and who actually would be interested in that side of them. Um, and somebody who's able to fully see and appreciate their actual full divine feminine energy, and you don't become a full divine feminine without balancing the internal masculine feminine energy. So your person's in a very, it's a hell of an energy. And the thing is it's one of those, it's it's one of these things, like, it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But for you, this is probably the energy that you cannot get enough of from your person. You're like, I just fuck, dude. Like, oh, so yeah. So yeah, I mean, ultimately your person is desiring, long-term commitment with you, ultimately. And communication and leaping with you and having you be a part of building their foundation or expanding their foundation and so on and so forth, just depending on where you guys are at in the physical reality. But ultimately, yeah, they're hoping and desiring for you to make this decision to go towards them and reconcile, and then let that naturally evolve into this Four of Wands, this long-term committed energy, and then build together, and then have your finances be completely stable and solid with the Nine of Pentacles, and then probably both of you locking in together and manifesting, the life of your dreams ultimately. So there's that. So yeah, your person's on board, which is what I was feeling, but sometimes it's nice to get that clarification from the cards. So hopefully that helps. Wishing you all the best. You got this. Feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel. I am gonna leave this here. Feel like we've gotten all we need to get for this one. So yeah, buddy. Alrighty. Well, yeah. If you'd like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free. I will see you on the next message.